I am super, super stoked to do this Free Friday today. And I've got a wonderful, wonderful uh, partner in crime with me today. And I'll be introducing her in a second. Thank you all for coming. uh, Today's session is called Spooky AI, and we weren't sure if we were going to scare people away with that title. But we really just want to encourage people that it's not bad. It can be, there's some little bit of controversy around it, but we want to show you some really, really cool ways to use ChatGPT today. It's been around for a while. I did a session on this about a year or so ago, and it was like, oh, look at how it can write a poem. Oh, look how it can get information. But oh my gosh, it has gone skyrocketed. How cool it is. So I'm Joanne Swenzard. I think I've met most of you, and I'll introduce Catherine in a minute. What I'm going to do is I've got a request. We do these sessions. They're all on my YouTube channel. The Free Fridays are on my YouTube channel. If you love any of them or all of them, please give us a review. Find Know It Sooner on Facebook or LinkedIn, or please give us a review. This really, really, really super helps as a small business, and we would love that. So 1 minute marketing. If you go to my website, knowitsooner.com, you will see, and I mention this because Christmas is coming. You want to know something to get somebody. 365 Tech Tips, my Know It Daily book that I wrote a couple of years ago. It's available in paperback and also as a digital download. Digital download is like $10 every single day that you can get a really cool tip. You could go to my website and see today's tip of the day if you want. I do have it set up in an Excel spreadsheet. It's kind of cool actually, and every day it'll come up. I am such a poor marketer of this, but Know It Sooner is an authorized testing center for Certiport. We do IT and business certification testing, not always the training, but the testing. You can see the website there if you want, knowitsooner.com. Click on certified, get certified. I mentioned our YouTube channel that you can watch the recording if you want. And upcoming events, we will be offering this an expansion of this class, a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more education-wise. Today might be a bit of a demo. Catherine's got some wonderful examples that she's prepared for this. Oh my gosh, for so many hours. I thank you for that in advance, Catherine. But the session on November 18th is going to be a little bit slower paced, giving you a chance to do some things. Some of you went to last week's session. It was on Microsoft Planner. We are going to probably be doing a course for that. We need 10 people for that course, Microsoft Planner. We need 10 people in order to do that one. So please, please, please let us know if you want a session on Microsoft Planner. Excel Level 1 and Excel Beyond the Basics is both virtual classes. We are running the Excel level, we're running both of these in the evenings. They're going to be over, Excel Level 1 is over 3 evenings and Beyond the Basics is over 6 evenings. We're trying to get people to come and just for 2 hours a night and do some homework in between. It's once a week. So we always get calls for that, but then the dates don't work and things like that. So I'm really, really hoping. Okay. So I'm going to watch the chat and I'm going to introduce our beautiful presenter here. Her name is Catherine Mondragon. She's a marketing content creator. Get rid of my chat screen. She's a marketing content creator and a connector who's passionate about AI technology, the way that it transforms the way we live and work. She created Miss Resources to help provide professionals and businesses with resources and tools to navigate the AI-powered future of work. AI is her life, you guys. Catherine merges creative thinking with AI tools to imagine new possibilities for integrating AI with daily tasks and improved automation and productivity. She is currently developing AI training programs with Moi to provide AI integration support for virtual. We might do some in-person stuff. We are available to do custom sessions on any of the stuff that you might have seen. And we will be doing some public things as well, as I just mentioned. So today, like I said, is a bit of a demo. Catherine, we didn't talk about this, but guess what I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning doing? That's really quite a open-ended question. Please don't answer it. What you thinking? I'm going to show you. Look what I've been doing. Julian, my grandson, is he is turning 2 on November the 12th. So I am building a book for him. I uploaded a picture. He comes to my house and he plays with this truck thing. He loves it. He just goes straight upstairs to get it. So I wrote a little thing. I'm sorry if I'm stealing your thunder, but I know I probably won't get a chance to display this. So I've got it in Word and I'm finishing it. Thank goodness I have good word skills, because ChatGPT doesn't have excellent word skills. So with that, I'm sorry. Again, we talked for like an hour yesterday and I didn't tell her that, but then how she gave me the idea to do that. And I was literally up till 1 in the morning. So anyway, I'm going to hand it over to you, my dear. And I'm going to be watching the chat. So please let me know if you have any questions on that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You go ahead and do it.
Hello, everybody. Can you all hear me fine? Can everyone hear me well? Joanne? Okay, good. Joanne, thank you so much for training me on how to do a Zoom presentation live. Like you're such a great trainer. Like, so patient and so generous. I really appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. I thought this would be a really fun session on how to use AI for different tasks that you have to use in the workplace as a business owner, as a professional, whether you work in marketing or administration or accounting. Hopefully there's some tips here that will be useful for you. So I'm just going to share my screen and we're going to go right to it. So I'm going to be working with ChatGPT 5. Now, ChatGPT 5 is the version of ChatGPT, the latest one. There's different subscriptions. You can use ChatGPT for free, which is fantastic. But if you want to be able to generate more images than just a couple of images a day, and you use ChatGPT all the time, I do highly recommend subscribing to the monthly ChatGPT 5 level, where I think it's around $15 US a month, something like that. It is incredible because the amount of visual information that you can get from it is way more. So you can get a much better return for your time and money if you just invest a little bit, and it's something that you use all the time. So one of the things that I wanted to find out was sort of what can we use this kind of what can we use this for? So let's go straight to our AI for Business presentation, and let's ask ChatGPT. Hey, how are you today? I'm sitting here with a bunch of people, and I just wanted to ask you to give us some advice on what we can use ChatGPT for in the office. What would you recommend to people that work in an office?
Hey there, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And hello to everyone in the room. So, when it comes to using ChatGPT in an office setting, there are definitely a bunch of handy ways to do that. For example, you can use it to draft emails quickly, brainstorm ideas for projects, or even summarize meeting notes. It can also help create things like templates or quick guides for common tasks. Basically, it's a pretty versatile assistant that can save everyone a bit of time and streamline a lot of day-to-day stuff.
Fantastic. So, what would a resume writer use ChatGPT for? What would you recommend?
Absolutely. So for a resume writer, ChatGPT can be super handy as well. You could use it to help draft or polish different sections of a resume, like summarizing someone's skills or turning a list of experiences into really polished bullet points. It's also great for customizing resumes for different job applications by tweaking the language to match the job description. And if you need a bit of inspiration for cover letters or LinkedIn summaries, it can help with that too. So it's kind of like having a writing buddy to make the whole process faster and smoother.
That's so true. You know what? I rewrote my entire LinkedIn profile by downloading it into ChatGPT, like all the sections. And ChatGPT helped me to rewrite everything in LinkedIn. Of course, I did add my own tweaks because, as you know, it's not a good idea to just cut and paste without adding your own sort of personal touches. Now, how would an accountant want to use ChatGPT or a bookkeeper?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point. It's always good to add your own personal flair. Now, for an accountant or a bookkeeper, ChatGPT can be a really helpful tool in a few different ways. For instance, they could use it to draft up client emails or to create explanatory notes about financial reports, or even to put together little guides on common bookkeeping tasks for clients or new team members. It's also useful for generating quick explanations of financial concepts or summarizing accounting policies. Basically, it's like a little assistant to help them communicate more effectively and save time on the writing side of things.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll come back to you later. Right now, we're going to go back to our demonstration. Thank you.
You're very
Okay. Sorry to cut you off there, ChatGPT. All right, so we're going to go straight into a few different demos. And I didn't want to waste too much time by generating them while we're sitting here watching because we only have a short amount of time. So I already generated these demos for you. And I'm going to show you what my questions were and show you what the results were. So we're going to kind of skip the middle bits. Um, but I started using ChatGPT as soon as it came out because not only was I doing all the social media marketing at the company where I worked, the company was creating an Excel product, but I was also doing all the sales. So I was basically doing two jobs. And ChatGPT helped me to take a lot of shortcuts. Now, before I go to this, Joanne, did you want to add anything? Did you want to share any stories about how you've used ChatGPT?
Yeah. So on the weekend, and I realize that not everybody is here for work. There's some people here. There's some retired folks here. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
And so I wanted to just do a personal one. So even if at the end of the day you're like, I would never use any of these things, they're cool, but you could absolutely do this. I was trying to have a little dinner party for some family on the weekend, and I'm like, well, I give me some ideas. So I asked ChatGPT, give me some ideas that something that kids would like, and that doesn't take much time. That's easy. And so it suggested the spaghetti recipe. And I said, oh, that's cool. Can you give me a shopping list? So it gave me a shopping list, and that was great. So then I'm out at the store and bring out my ChatGPT on my phone, and I'm doing my shopping and all that. And then I get home and I look at it again, and I had bought like 2 things of ricotta cheese for the sauce, and it was in grams, and the recipe was asking for cups. And so I asked ChatGPT, I didn't say like how many grams or cups. I didn't do that. I told it my situation, which is different than Googling, right? And a lot of people ask me, well, what's the difference between ChatGPT and Google? Like I would just Google something, right? Yeah, okay. This does things for you though, not just give you information. So I said, okay, ChatGPT, I have 2 things of ricotta cheese, and it was very specific. You'll find out why after. and they are blah, blah, blah grams each, 470 grams each or something. My recipe calls for 2 cups. What do I do? And it said, oh, wow, one of those is almost 2 cups, so just use that one. Oh, cool. And I said to it, well, what am I supposed to do with the other one? And it's just like a person. And it said, oh, well, you can make a double batch, or you can put it in, I think it said a smoothie or something, which is kind of weird, or you could freeze it. And I'm like, what? You can freeze ricotta cheese? And it's, oh yeah, no, you can freeze it. So it's just really a lot like your buddy, right? Like it's just totally your assistant. So sorry, that was a really long thing. I could go on and on and on about other things because I use it multiple times a day. So there you go. Thank you.
No, fantastic. Actually, Microsoft just put out a video on their latest update. I can share that in the chat afterwards. Where they go around to, this guy goes back to London, England, and he goes to his favorite coffee shop and teaches a guy who also makes shoes by hand that take 2 weeks to make. He's a cobbler and a coffee shop owner. He goes around to all his favorite haunts in London and teaches each of these business owners how to use ChatGPT for their business in ways that are very personal and easy. And one of the points he made was tech should be easy. We shouldn't have to adapt to tech. Tech should adapt to our needs. So what we're trying to do is to make AI and ChatGPT less spooky. So we're trying to make it easier for you. And if you felt a bit intimidated by the overload of information, we're here to tell you that it's actually very, very easy to use. And I'm going to show you some demos right now. Also, one thing I wanted to say, if you're confused about whether you want to use Gemini, Copilot, Claude, ChatGPT, all of these models actually are pretty much at the same rate of development. And even if there's like a few weeks between or a month between them where one gets more advanced and one is less advanced, they basically all catch up with each other. So it doesn't really matter whether you use Copilot or ChatGPT. What matters is how it serves you. So if you're like a huge Microsoft user, Copilot might be a wonderful tool for you, and it might be worth you using that. However, ChatGPT also connects to a bunch of apps. So if you join us for a workshop that we're doing in November, we're going to teach you more about that, how to connect ChatGPT to apps. Anyway, so I'm going to start off with a real life demo because we have a few seniors here who are retired. This is my mom's, and my mom ended up in hospital. And she was given these horrible photocopied physiotherapy notes. They were just awful. They look like this. And she was supposed to, they were just thrown at her like, here, do these exercises. And I was like, oh God, these are depressing, right? Like, who wants to look at this horrible photocopied note? So I asked ChatGPT to make a healing deck for my mom. And I uploaded a photo and it made this. And I was like, my mom's not going to like that. She is a boomer. Can you make it look 60, please? Because, that's not a good photo to show my mom. Here, I'll show you a picture of my mom. This is her there. She is an author. She writes books. Her name's Carol Mondragon. Just a little book pitch there. She writes Irish romantasy. Anyway, so that didn't really look like my mom at all. And I said, you have to make it look younger. So we're getting there, right? So I entered all of these photocopies just by uploading photographs. And it turned those horrible photocopied images into a bunch of visual cards. So you can see it has Carol's healing deck, has a picture of her, the exercise, how many exercises she has to do, and how many seconds she has to do it for. Now, what amazed me, and this is how much AI has progressed, is how consistent this is. It's very hard sometimes to get AI to be really consistent. I'm giving you a very small sample here of what I had to do, but I probably had to put in a whole page of instructions and go back and forth before we came up with this design. So be patient. Sometimes ChatGPT won't give you what you want right away. And sometimes you'll have a weird thing happen, like it won't completely finish processing something. I don't know, it just gets tired out or something, and then you have to go back in and say, can you do that again, please? So it's a bit wonky sometimes, but maybe that's a good thing, because if it wasn't wonky, then maybe that would be a bit dangerous for all of us. We still need humans. So yeah, I just wanted to show you this. Isn't it fantastic how it was able to do this? So now I have to get those printed off. Unfortunately, ChatGPT can't send them off to the printers yet, but maybe one day soon. So here I'm going to show you something really cool. So if you're an administrator, if you're somebody that works with finance, you will really find this interesting. Actually, this isn't the finance one. Sorry, I apologize. I just want to go to the finance one so we can stick with where I was. Okay, here we are. So the company I was working for sent me to the Global Excel Summit in England. Granier's heard of this because Granier attends it online. And I came back with a whole bunch of receipts. This is a small amount of receipts that I entered into ChatGPT, but I must have come up with like 30 receipts. And I was told by admin, you have to make an Excel spreadsheet. This is the categories. And I was like, oh my gosh, this again, right? Like, I just love doing this. I'm a marketing person. So I took pictures of all my receipts. I entered them into ChatGPT. And here's my instructions. Create a sheet for these UK receipts. So my instructions are in blue. Include British pounds, VAT, add Canadian dollars, today's rate, because it asked me, when do you want the rate? Do you want it for like February when I went, or do you want it for today? Make categories, travel or food for the London trip to the Global Excel Summit. So it categorized everything right here within seconds. And then I said, okay, add more receipts. Now, Joanne, do you know why I had to add more receipts? Do you remember this?
I believe there's a limit of 10 that you can do at one time.
Yeah. So you can only add 10 receipts with this version. I did ask ChatGPT, well, what if I group the receipts? How many can I put per image? And ChatGPT said up to 5 receipts per image. So you could do 10 images with 5 receipts in each image. So that's another way to do it. But anyways, so even though ChatGPT already created a spreadsheet for me, I can still keep uploading and adding. Please add these receipts. I need more receipts added. Now, does anybody notice what it forgot to do? Granier, can people speak? I don't know, but Joanne, do you notice here what it forgot to add in the last column?
Yeah, the total. Yeah, or the converted.
Yeah, Canadian. It forgot to add Canadian. So I was telling Joanne one time I asked ChatGPT, can you give me a recipe for banana bread? It was a couple of years ago when it first came out. And it did. It gave me a fantastic recipe, but it forgot to put in the bananas. And I was like, ChatGPT, you forgot the bananas. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, so sometimes ChatGPT will forget to add the bananas. So make sure you always check it. Don't just randomly generate something and hand it in without checking it, because it could screw you over a little bit. So I said, oh, ChatGPT, you got to add the Canadian. And I asked it to download a file, make a spreadsheet, just to save time. I didn't want to have to do the generating in front of you, because that can sometimes take a bit of time. But my final result for this particular one was dun, 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 a Microsoft spreadsheet with all of the categories. And we've got an actual usable spreadsheet exactly the way they wanted it. Now, if you are an artsy person like me who's not excellent at Excel and you're not quite sure how to manipulate your spreadsheet, you can go back into ChatGPT and say, can you change all the headings around? Like, I want currency first, description second, amounts third, and it will do it for you. It'll regenerate the whole spreadsheet for you. If you want to take a shortcut, which is the lazy way. I'm sorry. All right,
Or they can take an Excel course from Know It Sooner Computer Training.
So much better to have the knowledge, right? So much better. All right, so that's a great thing to do with receipts. Save so much time. One other thing I want to mention: last year I went to Ireland, Germany, Bulgaria, and I had receipts for Canada. And I was like, oh my gosh! First of all, the Bulgarian receipts were in Cyrillic, so I had to figure out how to translate them from Cyrillic to English, which I use Google Camera for that. Luckily, it had a translating ability. But so I uploaded the Bulgarian receipts, the Irish receipts, the German receipts, and the receipts from Canada, and it was able to just do it within seconds. You know, find out exactly what it was Canadian, take out the different kinds of taxes. It was just fantastic. What a huge time saver. So let's see, my next one here is, Oh, this is something fun that Joanne and I did. So Joanne invited me to do a fun casino, not as a player, but as somebody that is the dealer. So I've never been to a casino before, and I had no idea what to do. And so while the person was talking, I was putting notes into my phone, because I have ChatGPT on my phone, and I was recording audio recordings, and I was typing stuff. I was taking tons of pictures. Now, the reason why I did this was because, Joanne, can you explain the difference between the fun casino and a real casino, so we can understand why I had to do this?
Yeah, so the game is relatively the same, but because it's, well, first of all, there's no real money, but that doesn't really matter. But the scoring is a little bit different because it's just fun. So the odds play in for roulette, for example, they just play just a little bit different, and we round everything up. So it's a bit different than Googling how does roulette work? Like, what if I, get if I put my money on a square? If you were at a casino, it'd be like 37 to 1. Here we don't do that. It's 40 to 1. So we couldn't just Google what are the roulette payouts and things like that. It was all, that's why we went to this training session, but there was no handouts or anything. So
yeah, so I basically had to create my own handouts. Now, why is this useful to people working in an office? Well, my daughter works for the government, and because she's the young one, she's often asked to do training manuals, and she creates them on PowerPoint, and it takes hours and hours of work, right? So we don't want to let the Gen Zs always get all the glory. I mean, sometimes we do, but sometimes us Gen Xers also want to look like we're smart and can do stuff. So if we put in our information into ChatGPT, just like I did here, this is on the spot. While the dealer is talking, I am putting in all this information. The blue parts are me talking to ChatGPT, and the white parts are ChatGPT responding. So you can see my prompt here. I'm just like throwing in dribbles of information, and ChatGPT is giving me more information back. So next time you have a training session and you're training somebody, you can record that session, say, like on Zoom, you can record it, you can get all the information afterwards. And then you can upload it into ChatGPT and say, create me a training manual. It's a fantastic tool for creating a training manual. So I'm just going to look, this is the amount of information I put in that night that ChatGPT and I were having conversations back and forth. I just want to show you how much input went into this. Sometimes you have to put in quite a bit of information and detail to get a really good output. So just remember that if you don't give it enough information, it's not always going to give you exactly what you want. So in the end, this is the end of the evening, we created a manual. And I even asked it to create a flow chart as well. So I'm just going to go back to my documents here and show you. I made a flow chart summary. And also made a rules handbook. I exported this as a PDF, but you can also export it as a Word document. So here's part of the manual. I didn't export the whole thing. So now I have this, and I'll keep, exporting it. I have all the bets here. I have the tips here. I have the payout because I'm not used to doing this. I want to know exactly how to do it. So if I get confused, I can quickly look at my dealer's handbook. So imagine what kind of uses you could come up with for that if you were in the workplace and you're trying to create something for work that, for training, right?
And I would
Sorry.
encourage you all in the chat. I know Karen, hi Karen, you're giving us some real live examples. Love that. If you're using it for something, then maybe somebody else could use it for something. So I'd really love, there's 13, 12 people online. Please put in the chat if you've used ChatGPT or any other AI tool. Really give us some ideas about how you have used it. That would be super. And while I have the floor, I just want to mention too, have any of you used the AI summaries in Zoom or in Teams? So Catherine and I had a conversation a couple of times on this, and it's like you have this isn't ChatGPT, but it's the AI companions that are built into these products. So after we were done our session, it summarized everything. That was our first meeting. So I sent it to Catherine and I said, like, this thing, it captured everything for us. So then yesterday we met again, and at the end of the day, I was like, so Catherine, here are your action items and here are my action items, just so that it really got recorded and neither of us had to take any notes. Of course we did for the important stuff, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Thanks, guys.
I think you should show it, Joanne, at the end of the session because it was so fantastic. I'll just keep going until we come back to you then. So another thing that I've done is because of my sales connecting and going out into the public, when I was at the Global Excel Summit, for instance, I had to collect, hundreds of contacts and business cards. And then when I got back, I had to upload all of this information into ChatGPT. In the previous years, it would take me a week to upload all of the contacts, all of the connections, the business cards, etc., into the CRM system. Now, as you know, a lot of CRM systems, which is means it's basically a system for people that work in sales, and it collects information on possible clients. A lot of those systems that people use are very compatible with what we call CSV files or Excel files. So if you can get your contacts into a spreadsheet, you can easily input them into any kind of CRM system to be able to keep your contacts. So it's like a Rolodex of cards. So I was able to take photos of all of these contacts. Now, Joanne suggested that I keep people's information private. So I'm just going to show you a demo here, which is kind of a fake one of people's names. But I basically went into ChatGPT and was able to collect hundreds and hundreds of cards and create a spreadsheet for those cards. This is kind of a demo of what that would look like. So their first name, last name, the company, their role, their email, phone number, city, country. And then I said, well, I want to use this spreadsheet like a CRM system. So how about you put like the last date that I contacted them, follow-up date, follow-up type. Did I go for a coffee? Did I get, did we have a conversation? What about notes? Put some notes in there about who they are, what the status is of that relationship with them. Any email messages that I sent them, let's throw it in there. So you can really use Excel in a wonderful way for relationship building, for staying connected with contacts. But ChatGPT is a fantastic tool for uploading all of that information and turning it into a spreadsheet. And let's see if I turned it into a spreadsheet. CRM sheets, here we are. We've got a business card sample here. So we've got here our spreadsheet of our fake contacts, so we don't give away any information. And I just saved myself a whole week's worth of work instead of me sitting there for hours and hours inputting all of this information.
So
yay.
So okay, Catherine, there was a question in the chat about privacy. Now, I'm going to take a stab at that. I think if it's a bunch of business cards that I collected at the Chamber of Commerce event that was the other day, or something like that, I don't know that I mean, somebody's giving away their business card. I don't think it matters that you're giving ChatGPT that information. But there's some folks in the school system online here. Can you speak to that? Like if you had a bunch of, I don't know, student names handwritten or something like that, or whatever, and
yeah,
here to fix it up. Can you speak on that?
Now, I have looked it up, and the school board and the government do have policies on AI use and privacy. So the government of Alberta and the school board have some policies and guidelines. So you should definitely look those up so that you know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. But just for the general public here, one thing you can do now, just remember these tools are still learning. They're robots. They're learning how to speak to humans. Every time we use them, we are teaching them. We are molding these robots to become more human in their interactions. And so when you turn your memory on in the ChatGPT right here, which is, I'm just going to show you one more time. You are teaching the robot. You are allowing the robot to remember everything that you've said so that it can respond to you. So I'm going to go down to my name here. Does everybody see where my mouse is? It says Catherine Plus at the bottom of my screen. And if you come and take our workshop in November, we're going to go over all of this stuff with you and teach you how to do this. I'm going to go to personalization, and we can go over that in the workshop in November. It's going to be like super, super affordable. And then we're going to go to memory and personalization, and we can manage our memory. And here we can reference saved memories, reference chat history, reference record history. Now, if you want privacy and you don't want this information to be remembered, you can turn that stuff off. If you want AI to remember your information, you can keep it on. Joanne, why do we want ChatGPT to remember our information?
So that we don't have to give it as much later on. It will remember. It knows we live in Edmonton. It knows. I was asking it for a nutrition plan the other day, and it said something about, and drink water. We know how much you. I know how much you like your Diet Pepsi, because I had asked it a question a while back. How much Diet Pepsi? I drink about 2 cans a day. Is that too much Diet Pepsi? So it remembers that, and I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah. So you can teach your robot, your personal assistant, to become more supportive, more human. We'll go more into this in our November workshop, but You can even, in the personalization section of chat, you can say, I want you to be talkative and conversational. I want you to have wit and humor. You can make it encouraging, straight shooting, witty, chatty. It can also be pragmatic, poetic, empathetic, etc. This is why we hear stories about people having better relationships with their AI than with their partner. Because they can program AI to be empathetic and a good listener. Anyway, so I put my occupation here. I put my company. My goals are to educate people online and in Edmonton about how to use AI tools to be able to be employable and survive the age of AI. So I've written like a whole bunch of stuff here. So, and you can go back and keep changing this and updating your profile. Only AI and you see this, right? But it just helps AI to know who you are and how it can serve you. So, yeah. So definitely read the guidelines for any organizations that you might work in, but just know that you can turn off the memory for particular tasks or just in general so that you can use, it's almost like it's using ChatGPT anonymously. So it won't remember that information and it won't share it or use it in its training. Does that answer the question? Okay, so I just wanted to show, we've done that, promotional. Oh, yeah, so this is kind of fun. So anybody here have terrible handwriting? Because I have really, really bad handwriting. And the thing is, though, I love writing notes by hand. And there's scientifically proven that some people who write notes by hand, I used to do this in university lectures, it helps you retain information. And I honestly wouldn't have to look at my notes again because just the act of writing them would help me retain that information. It was like almost like a way of coding the information from my pen into my brain, which is a good thing because my notes, my handwriting is so awful that I wouldn't be able to understand it. However, amazingly, ChatGPT can read my handwriting. So I went to a mastermind event, and it's really funny. It was the Stacy Berger 3-day mastermind event. It's all about how to envision the life that you want, and you make all these goals, etc. Now, remember, we can only upload 10 pages at a time. So these are my pages that I uploaded. Look at my handwriting. It's absolutely crazy. Like, I can barely read it, right? So I uploaded all of this, and then I said, okay, can you transcribe my notes? Can you create a summary? This is my, in blue, I've got my blue prompt here. And as Joanne says, your prompts don't need to be detailed. They don't even need to be proper English because AI can read your writing, even if you have the worst grammar and the worst punctuation, especially if you're in a rush. So I've written transcribe notes from mastermind event, polish text, organize and create headings. And so within seconds, this is what it did. Took all of those notes from those pages, transcribed them, organized them, gave them headings. And then I said, oh, wow, this is amazing. It then offered, how about I create a PDF summary sheet that you can put in your vision board, your binder? Because I thought, you know what? I'm not just going to take these notes. I'm going to turn it into a workbook. I am going to create a workbook for myself so that not only do I have these notes to look back on, but I can work on it. I can ask AI to maybe go and look up different, inspirational writers such as Atomic Habits. That was one of the books that was recommended at the event, Atomic Habits. I asked AI to give me a list of books. What book should I read that would go with the mastermind concepts that I was learning? Do you think you could put some quotes from those books into my PDF, into my training manual? Maybe put some daily exercises. So right now we're designing my training manual, and ChatGPT, because I've already inputted so much information about myself, it actually asked me if I wanted to have my Miss Resources branding in there. Do you want your branding in there? Do you want your colors in there? Because I've already uploaded that. So I just wanted to show you those amazing capabilities of what ChatGPT can do. So I think I have one more demo. Okay, so this last demo is I was asked to promote a film screening because my background's in film, and I uploaded all the information. So I had a poster for this film screening, and Joanne came to the film screening. She brought her mom, so that was awesome. I was like, okay, I'm going to this film screening. Can you, ChatGPT, can you give me a list of, sorry, I've lost it now. Can you give me a list of film organizations in Edmonton that I can connect to? Yes, it gave me a list of film organizations. And then I said, okay, well, how about you make me an Excel spreadsheet of all of the different people that I can connect with. So it made me an Excel spreadsheet. And then I said, okay, well, in order to do this, though, I put in the press release package, I put the poster in, I put in as much information as possible. That's the one thing you have to remember. If you want it to give you the right answers, you have to give it the right information. So look at this. I've got a letter. I asked it to write me a whole bunch of personalized emails. So this one is to Film and Television Alberta. And it did this within seconds. It wrote me an email to Film and Television Alberta. It wrote an email to FAVA, Film and Video Art Alberta Society. Then it wrote an email to Edmonton Screen Industries office. Then it wrote an email to the Edmonton Arts Council, and on and on and on. And it had already created spreadsheets for me. I had a spreadsheet for media, press releases. I had a spreadsheet for film organizations, a spreadsheet for organizations outside of film that might be interested in attending. And we filled up that theater. And I did it. I was able to fill up that theater. They asked me 3 weeks beforehand to start promoting it. And because I had ChatGPT, I was able to accomplish work that normally would take months to accomplish, because these emails were done within seconds and I was able to just send them off. Now, for those of you who are interested in taking a mail merge workshop with Joanne, ChatGPT can also create a mail merge email. So here I said, okay, it actually asked me, it said, do you want a mail merge? I'm like, what's that? And it gave me an email that you can actually put into mail merge, upload your spreadsheets that you've created with ChatGPT based on all the contacts it's found for you, and then do a mail merge. But I would go to Joanne to ask her more about that. So the last thing I wanted to show you was something really fun, because we always have to have fun when we're using a new tool. And I highly recommend, if you want to start using ChatGPT, start with something fun. So I said to ChatGPT, create a comic of an office worker using tools that take time, and show how awesome it is to go from using office tools to AI. And I said, make it a Archie comic and use Betty. Okay, it started with a typewriter, which was kind of weird. But then it went to AI and gave us this little box. And Joanne was like, what's that little box? So I said to ChatGPT, what's that little box? And ChatGPT said, the little box is drawn in classic comic shorthand, and it means a magic machine or an office gadget. It's meant to represent the AI tool Betty is using. So there you are. We learned a little bit about comic lore. Then I said, okay, can you please put Veronica instead? But this time, can you make her use a computer and then have her use AI? And then she's so excited. So now we have a comic with Veronica. Within seconds, it produces comic. Okay, how about Archie? Let's have Archie. So now we have Archie using the AI comic. And then I remembered my daughter telling me, she works for the government, and she said that there was like a they did a little presentation on washrooms. People were not being very, they wanted people to be a little bit more clean in the washrooms. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'd love my kids to like be a bit more conscientious around the house. What about using a comic instead of putting up signs? Let's put a comic in a washroom that everyone might recognize. So, I mean, isn't this more fun than putting up a big sign that says, wash your hands before you go back to the office? Put something funny that people can laugh at, right? So amazing, amazing capabilities and endless possibilities. Joanne, I think we want to leave a couple of minutes here for people to ask questions. So back to you.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. I hope everybody got some really good ideas there. So we did have a question. Rebecca is wondering, so when we did the receipts, and we could only do 10 at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
And then later you just said, oh, here's some more, and you uploaded them. What if you had that memory thing turned off? Would you have to, would you just turn it on for that part, or would you have it off and then you're like, oh shoot, I found another 6 receipts or something like that? Like, how would you have to start the spreadsheet? Like, would you have to start it from scratch again, or how does that work?
Let's find out. Hello there. We have a question. If I am working for an organization where I have to keep information private, and I wanted to upload a whole bunch of receipts, and I could only do 10 at a time, and I turned off the memory in ChatGPT to keep my information private, would ChatGPT still remember how many receipts that I'm uploading if the memory is turned off? And if not, what could I do to keep my privacy as an organization and also get ChatGPT to remember the task that it is doing? Can you help us, please?
Absolutely, I can help explain that. So when you turn off memory in ChatGPT, it won't retain any long-term information from your conversation once that chat session is over. That means if you upload a bunch of receipts and then start a new chat later, it won't remember how many you've already done. If you need to maintain privacy but still want to keep track of the task within a single session, you can just let me know how many you've uploaded so far. I can keep track during this conversation without storing anything permanently. Once you close the chat, that temporary count will disappear. In short, with memory off, no long-term data is kept, but I can still help you keep track in the moment. Let me know what you need.
Fantastic. Thank you. We'll come back to you if we have any more questions. So does that help? So I just want to mention something if people are not familiar. These are folders. On the left here, there's a pen I can use, right? I should use that pen. Is it called Annotate, the pen?
Yeah, so look on the bottom.
Oh yeah, there it is, the pen.
Bottom left. Yeah.
Okay, so here we have folders, right? And then if you go further down, you'll see a thread. These are threads here. And these threads they're like a conversation. So if I click on a thread, this is a conversation that I'm having, whether I'm writing or whether I'm talking to ChatGPT. Once I stop using that thread, it's kind of like a Word document. It's like a Word document, right? Or a Google Docs. Once I stop using that thread, that's the end of that conversation. And then I maybe move on to another conversation, or I start another conversation. However, if you create a folder, just like Google Folders, you can keep multiple threads, just like I did for this presentation, in that folder. Does that make sense? And what ChatGPT was saying is that if you're having a conversation with them, you can say to them, I've turned off the memory, but I want you to remember all these receipts, and I'm going to add more. And ChatGPT will remember those receipts for as long as your thread session lasts. But then afterwards, you can delete that information and you can turn your memory back on again.
So I wonder, you can't have the memory turned on or off for specific ones, like specific projects or something, probably.
Yeah, I think that's something that we'll have to address in the longest session.
Okay, Okay.
Yeah, because I definitely would like to do more research around that question.
Yeah. So Sarah's wondering about copyright infringement on the Archie thing. What are your thoughts on that? I think that's where that's coming from. I wondered the same thing, actually.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you published that and said that was your own work, then you're definitely infringing on copyright. Now, one of the cool things that ChatGPT does is I can show you on my LinkedIn. I just did a post, and in that post, LinkedIn put that it was made by AI. So right here, see that there's a CR here? Content credentials, source or history information is available for this media. AI was used to generate all of this image. So when you post on social media, it will often give you this content creation, the CR symbol, that tells people that this is made by AI, sorry. Did I say EI? AI. So does that kind of help? So I think it's just important that it's not about the content that you get from ChatGPT, it's how you use it. So if you use something that is copyright and you try and claim it as your own, well, yeah, you're making that choice. It's up to you.
Yeah, and you guys, there's so much BS out there that AI creates, like all of these celebrities and hospitals and all these shows. They have the Big Bang people or the Friends or something. Look, there's a reunion show and all that. Oh my gosh, you can see how easy it is to create all of these things. So please be mindful of all of that. Now, Barb is our resume person. AI generated content recognized by the software limiting reach. Yeah. And what just put in a little word, Barb, on what do you think about AI on resumes? I know Catherine said, yeah, you can use it for ideas and then put your own spin on it. Are those, what are they called? The applicant tracking systems? Is that good? I've been working with lots of resume writers. Does it pick up the AI as well? I didn't tell her I would be asking her specific questions.
Hey, Joanne, I really don't know about that. There's like 200 applicant tracking systems on the market, so I imagine they're going to be looking. I think the thing that about using, look, obviously I have some bias, but if you have to be a real pro to use ChatGPT to write a resume because many people recognize ChatGPT content and they automatically will go to the no pile. So you have to use caution. And I guess, and again, obviously my bias, but they can lose the human touch, which I feel is risky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that goes for marketing as well. A lot of people will use it for marketing, for posts and things. And I'm like, as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cheesy. What I personally would use it for is just to get an idea of a way that I could word something, and then I word it myself, kind of a different way. Like, oh, isn't that interesting how they're putting that spin on it? Okay. And I kind of might write it myself. Maybe I'll copy and paste it into ChatGPT to say, what can I do to make this better? But it's got to be my own idea first. So I go back and forth a lot.
Yeah, I think we're at this, or at least me, I'm at this stage where I mean, I don't use it for writing a resume. I don't think that's what people pay me for.
Yeah.
But we are at this interesting stage where we're testing, exploring, and who knows what the future holds.
Mm.
I would just like to say, because I know it's a bit disheartening thinking about what is AI going to do to our jobs, right? I would just like to say, Barb, that I tried writing my resumes with ChatGPT, and it was I didn't like the results. In the end, my daughter's actually been trying to do resume writing, and she's the one that works for the government. she loves doing stuff. Like she loves doing PowerPoints and writing stuff. And I ended up asking her to do it because it just the results are just too, as much as I try and input my own personality into ChatGPT, it's just too generic. Like there's patterns of language that ChatGPT uses where it'll say three things. It has habits, it has patterns, and those patterns are very recognizable. So I think right now your job is still safe from AI, but I would say that before people come to you, they could use AI to do a little bit of messing around and coming up with some ideas. It's a great place to experiment and to come up with different ideas to help you process and think about and consider different things that may have taken a lot longer in the past.
I think the role in job search that we can exploit it for is research, learning about the company or the employer, and that's where the real value is, I think. But thanks for the note. Yeah.
Are there any other comments from? I'd be really interested in hearing what people from different industries have to say, even if you type them in, just because we really want to support people. Was the workshop too like, would it have been better to be more complex or easier? Like, what are people's thoughts on the content?
Yeah, give us some feedback, guys. And it is 4 minutes after the hour, so we do want to let people do whatever they're got to get back to. But I'm seeing some good feedback here and conversation. So and we did lose some people because they've got other stuff to go to. So we should wrap it up here. Any last final comments from the participants or from you, Catherine? Thank you so much again. Thank you.
We would actually very much appreciate any feedback for planning our November workshop, because we'd like to deliver answers that people are looking for to questions, and we'd like to deliver it at a level of content that people need. So Thank you, Joanne.
Yes, this is our first time doing this particular session, and as well we thought, well, we want to show people what's capable of and then offer the actual workshop later. So please give us some feedback, and it's on my website already to sign up. There's an early bird price too, so please share. All right,
take care. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Is there anybody who's going to stay and keep talking? Because I don't mind if we want to keep talking for a few more minutes.
Well, Mother, tell us how. I'm going to stop the recording then.